You see Matt Manning after the game, his quote?
Had to been better than Stoney's.
What's Stoney saying today?
We'll play that in a minute.
Okay. Well, Matt Manning said Shohei had the greatest day of baseball that anybody has ever seen. Hard to argue. 9 innings in the first game, 1 hit, turns around in the second game and hits 2 home runs.
It's when it's something when the opposing team can sit there and say, this was pretty special. This was, wow. I know it sucked that it was us, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
Like, what are the parallels? You brought up being at the Palace for LeBron. What Shohei's doing, like, there really aren't parallels. People try to go back to Babe Ruth. I mean, is this like a quarterback throwing 350 yards and then playing free safety and housing one the other way? I mean, like, this doesn't happen.
Or just something that's just so mind-blowing. Like, for example, if you happen to be, I don't know if they were in Cincinnati or if they were in Milwaukee, when Ellie De La Cruz stole second, then stole third, and then caught the pitcher napping and stole home, and imagine you're in the beer line when this happened, and your buddies are all like, I can't believe that. Can't believe what? What happened? Oh, you'll never see that again. It's one of those type of events, one of those type of moments. Have you ever been at the ballpark? Because it's different when you're actually there than watching it on TV. So that's what we're asking. If you've been there, tell us what it is. 248-539-9797. For me, I was at the Palace watching LeBron. That, to me, was the beginning of what LeBron James was about to become. Because before, it was a lot of hype. And I'm like, man, this kid can't live. Like, he's not this good. Okay, guys, pump the brakes. He's not going to be the next Jordan. And the next thing, I'm just sitting there like, this is incredible. Where Ben Wallace, your multiple defensive player of the year, he can't stop him. Tayshaun Prince, the lockdown defense. Tayshaun can't stop. No one can stop this kid. He is torching them by himself. That's what made that so remarkable. He beat it was 1-on-5 and 1-1.
Early LeBron on some of those Cavs teams. Remember who his teammates were? It's like Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Anderson Varejao.
Yeah.
Larry Hughes and Mo Williams. Meanwhile, they're going up against Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili in the NBA Finals. Yeah, it's a coming out party. And, I don't think yesterday was that for Shohei. I think you'd have to be living under a rock.
No, it wasn't a coming out party.
But for Tiger fans to see it in person and get that taste of greatness.
You know what it showed? It showed this man is going to be worth the 600 or 700 million he's going to get. Because what other player can do what he just did?
None.
That's why somebody's going to pay that amount of money. That's why.
I went back and looked at it because everybody does it. Babe Ruth did this 100 years ago. Babe Ruth pitched really up until 1919 when he was 24 years old and then was a hitter exclusively for the vast majority of his career. So, no, we don't have any parallels to this. In the game back then, he was going up against plumbers. Guys paving roofs in the offseason.
Literally.
Yeah, not pejoratively, not like the cool thing to say. No, like actual dudes who were working with their hands the other 6 months of the year.
Right. Who really had no athleticism to them, but they just happened to be the best of the best.
And it wasn't a global game. You didn't have players from Japan and South America. You didn't. No, it wasn't the game that it is today.
You had a bunch of white guys out there playing.
They didn't even have the color barrier broken yet.
No.
What Shohei's doing in the global game, pitching and hitting, in our ballpark yesterday, that was a brush with greatness. What's the game you were there for your brush of greatness? Let's go to Carl. You're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Carl.
All right, I got one for you. I've never been a big baseball fan most of my life. And I got coerced one day to go down to the ballpark. A buddy of mine talked me into it, bought me a ticket, and ended up seeing Verlander's no-hitter. Now, not to be outdone, a short time after that, he says, Carl, you got to come with me. I want to see another no-hitter, so I got you another ticket. And we went and saw Galarraga's perfect game.
You know what?
And those are the only 2 ball games I've ever been to.
You should have won
Are
yesterday.
you serious? Wait, Carl, I almost don't buy that. You've only been to 2 baseball games and they were a no-hitter and a near perfect game?
That's it.
Carl,
I blew my wad. He was actually joking with me, says the team should buy me tickets every year.
You should have went to the doubleheader yesterday. You would have saw something again.
I would have liked it. Maybe seen something else. Outrageous.
Appreciate the phone call, man.
Carl.
Yeah, the Galarraga game, I think, because of everything that you know now and everything that you saw, it was a perfect game. I think that would qualify as something that if you were there, that was greatness. And then even afterwards, like, you were robbed. You were robbed of that moment to say it was a perfect game. And to this day, I'm still mad that Major League Baseball has not come out and just said, you know what, we're going to give you that perfect game.
Can I say this? I think the call should have been rectified. He should have been credited with a perfect game. The fact that he wasn't has actually made this stand out more. Like, being at that game, we've had perfect games before, not many. We've never had that. That's like a one of one in all of baseball. If you were at that game, it's more unique. I hate saying this, but it's more unique because he got screwed.
No, but then it becomes, okay, do you feel the same way about the Calvin Johnson process?
Oh, here we go. 248. Dean, you're next up. Dean, your brush with greatness.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Hey,
Good.
Dean.
Yeah, so good. I took my son to his first hockey game for his 7th birthday on the day after Christmas in 1996, and the Red Wings beat the Capitals 5-4 in overtime, and Sergei Fedorov scored all 5 goals.
Okay.
That's a really good one.
That is a really good one, Dean.
It was crazy.
And, you look back at that era of Red Wing hockey, and, like, Yzerman is the face of it, and he's the captain, but Fedorov was every bit the player Steve was. I mean, he played two-way hockey. They didn't have to threaten to trade him to Ottawa. I mean, he was a great player, and that's one of his signature games. Yeah. Like, if you were there for that, that probably felt like being there for LeBron. Yeah, going off. At least it was your guy in this instance.
Right,
at least it was your guy.
Okay, this guy is red hot, and this is about to happen. I would say maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to take other people's away, but Barry Sanders, when he set the rushing record at the time, he got over 2,000 yards. Mm-hmm. Because I remember I was working in Lansing when he got it, and we were all wondering to ourselves, okay, did he just get the record? Did he just get to 200 yards? Because I think it was like one of those Barry runs where he rushed for like 3 yards. It could be 2 yards, could be 3 yards. So did he get 2,000 yards on that? The very next play, he settled the argument and took it, I think, 57 yards down the sideline. We're like, oh, yeah, Barry just got the record.
You want a much sadder moment that's similar to that to me. I was at the Sunday night game where I think it was Kerryon Johnson ran for 100 yards for the Lions. Remember they had that stretch where they couldn't find a 100-yard rusher? And I remember people like checking their phones or looking at the scoreboard to see, did he get to triple digits? Did he get 100 yards rushing? Not nearly the brush of greatness, but that's what it made me think of. 248-539-9797. It was such a sad time. We couldn't find a 100-yard back. It was like 2 seasons plus, maybe more.
Yeah.
Different days. Better days ahead. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, you're on 97.1, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me on there. So, in 2015, I attended a Blue Tigers
Hey, Jeff, we're going to put you on hold. Don't go anywhere. But, yeah, your phone is going in and out. So, yeah,
Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, am I reading this right? Go ahead.
Look, give Shohei his flowers for what he did. But he did not do that against a major league roster. Those guys, they do not – the only major league player, legitimate major league player on that roster is Green, Riley Green. The rest of those guys, you can bag them. And if you look at his record, he wasn't doing that hot. But if you're talented enough, it only takes that one day, that one outing. The kid in New York, he showed that. You just talked about Galarraga. It only takes that one day. But this team has consistently shown that they are not major league caliber. And the point of all of this is, go ahead.
Anthony, he's the most valuable player in all of baseball, and that includes games not played against the Detroit Tigers. He's number 1 in home runs and OPS, and he's an ace on the bump. Are you really calling him to take away from what he is doing?
Anthony, you looked at there was 31 flavors to choose. You chose salty. Seriously.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I'm here to tell you, this is showing you how far the Tigers have to go before they're a legitimate team. And all of the sauce that was talking about how close they were to making the playoffs, when they play legitimate teams, look at what they do. when you play against the number 3, the number 4 starter, I'm saying Shohei is the real deal. But I'm saying look at it from the premise of if he was playing against a AAA, AA team. That's what he faced. Be real about it. Look at the averages. Look at the OPS. The only real player they have is Riley Green.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Anthony, I'm not really sure the point you're making. Are you saying that
he's saying that it was so easy? If it was that easy, then why haven't everybody else thrown one-hitters against the Tigers?
The Tigers are not a playoff team, even in this lousy division. But let's not say it's the Toledo Mud Hens, okay?
Right.
Come on. They didn't put the Erie Seawolves out there at the ballpark yesterday.
That's what I was
Come
like,
on.
dude. You chose Anthony woke up and chose violence this morning. Like, wow. Not impressive? Well, they're not a major league team. Okay, they're 7.5 games out. They're not the worst team. They're not the best team either, but come on.
You're brushed with greatness. If you're at the ballpark, want to hear from you. If you have another game you were at where you go, wow, you left kind of like, I saw something today.
Yeah.
It's 97.1.